Hey guys, Artosis here, and today I'm going to be bringing you something a little bit different from what I've done on this channel in the past. A lot of people have been asking me to cast some Flash games. Of course, if you're watching this channel, you already know that Flash is the greatest gamer ever to have lived, the absolute legend, known simply as God within the StarCraft 1 scene. He went to the military, of course, back in the end of 2021, and returned to the ladder, but not to professional play yet, here in the summer of 2023. Now, he hasn't played any official matches. He has not played in any tournaments. People were wondering if he'd try out for ASL. Apparently, he had some sort of injury during that time, but he's been pretty quiet publicly. But that has not made him stop from being a terror on the ladder. Now, this is one of Flash's ladder games. We have Flash up here at 12 o'clock on Sylphid. And his opponent over here in the bottom right, it's going to be Yoon. Now, Yoon is one of the best up-and-coming Zerg players in the world. This is the ACS champion from 2020. So, just before Flash went to military, you know, Yoon was really starting to rise up. Flash certainly knows who he is, but this is someone who's been grinding really hard for the year and a half, 2 years that Flash has been kind of away. So it'll be really fun to see how Flash tries to play against a Zerg of this quality. So yeah, I hope that you guys do enjoy this. Please let me know in the comments if you want to see more ladder matches from very famous pro gamers or anything like that. You know, nowadays it's not so hard to get ladder replays anymore. So you definitely can find like a lot of really amazing games. And it's so awesome that we can still see some of Flash's play now that he's kind of returned. And, you know, a lot of people do ask, they're like, is Flash going to come back? My guess is yes. He has not said publicly, but I've been around the industry a long time, and generally, if you're someone like Flash, you'll never completely leave. I mean, look at it. Just about every pro ever is active right now playing. I mean, I think once the Brood War bug bites you, eventually you're just like, yeah, I just want to play this game. So anyways, my guess is that we will see him return to ASL next year, but I can't say for certain. Either way, let's enjoy this match here against Yoon, because Sylphid's a great map, and Yoon's a great player, so again, very excited to see if Flash is able to take this down. Now, he scouts Yoon second. He'll go for a 1 Marine off of a Barracks expansion. And now we get to see what type of metagame Flash wants to utilize here. You know, there's a lot of different ways to play. The 2-Racks Academy Rush is incredibly popular, but he actually starts a 3rd Marine immediately. So now we're going to see if he's going to make that 3rd depot. I think he very likely will. Now, this is actually like a big decision in Terran vs. Zerg. And he actually sends out the secondary scout as the Zerglings come out. So this scout looks like it just wants to go home. Second scout going down wants to... I guess he wants to re-pick up where he left off the scouting, right? Like he's drawing these lings out with this scout. And the secondary one is going to go in. And, you know, what you're looking for here is how many Zerglings are being made. That's the important part. Now, 3 Marines are going to come down to push back these 2 Zerglings that are coming up. See, just push them back. You turn right around. You save that SCV. Not that the SCV is going to die, but you're putting some extra damage on it. It's completely free. Now, the next SCV goes in, and he'll be able to see if there's a Zergling all incoming. Okay, 2 popped out there. He did miss those, but he sees these 2. Right? If you're going to be afraid of Zerglings, you're going to see a bunch popping out of this hatchery. You know, obviously they could make some here, and that could be a little bit tricky. But right now it looks like, yeah, it's like drones popping out still. So Flash isn't going to be too afraid of any sort of rush coming up. He's got very, very good intel as to what's going on. And in fact, is going for like a 2 Barracks Academy rush. Yeah, and that's all pretty good timing. He might even be able to do a medic move out before that the Mutalisks are actually hatched. And you see a little bit of a move out here. Now, Zergling speed finished while the Zerglings were chasing that SCV. So Flash actually turns around, and that is 100% of the time going to be the right choice. It's actually a little bit uncommon, or yeah, I would call it a little bit uncommon to see them make 3rd hatch in the main base and get Zergling speed still very quickly. You know, sometimes when you go for this more economic play, you don't focus on the Zergling speed. Whereas if you took a third hatchery, you definitely need it to block any attacks basically that are going towards the third or natural. Whereas here you could utilize Sunkens and be a little bit more cost efficient, make more drones, basically, is what I'm trying to say here for Yoon. So Flash backs up. He is going into a third barracks and a fourth barracks here, as well as that engineering bay. And I gotta say, this has been pretty trendy lately to go for 4 barracks play against Zerg, but this is like slightly later. You know, a lot of people have been going very quick engineering bay into the 4 barracks, but Flash here instead, he powered up on Marines a little bit more heavily, tried to put more pressure on. Honestly, the pressure didn't really work out. Like, Yoon only made a handful of the Speedlings, and in fact hasn't made any sunken colonies yet. So he's still doing pretty well economically. But Flash going into the 4 racks wants to maintain that pressure. He is making some missile turrets now. We heard a scan. So he has a good idea that the Mutalisks are on the way. Definitely wants to block these as they come in. You do not want to be taking any damage there. +1 attack, as well as the range upgrade on the way. And notice the order in which he's building the turrets. A couple at the natural right away, a couple at the barracks. Over here is further away, so he only makes 1 turret so far, but he should add another one, like probably there. Oh, that's a funny turret. Anyways, it does make a secondary turret there. It's always fun to see what Flash is doing, I gotta say, as a Terran player, because he does everything different from everyone else. And he is the greatest ever by far, so you can always learn, and it's not like, is this a mistake? It's more like, why is he doing this? This is kind of a zoning turret, right? Like, if the mutas are going to fly way over here, then they have to go way up here to try to avoid shots from that. That's actually, I mean, I'll take it. Anyways, the mutas from Yoon doing a great job reducing this Marine count some. Flash trying to push out, trying to put some pressure on. He's lost quite a few Marines, though. He's going to want to be careful about that. More mutas and lings coming up. If he ends up losing this group, Yoon may be able to shut this game down pretty quickly. Now, yeah, pulls back a little bit with those mutas. And going to get in on top of this Bioforce. Does Yoon have enough to kill everything here? It looks like, in fact, he does. This is a huge moment for Yoon. Flash losing his entire forward group. Yoon does have this third base on the way. This is not a super common third, by the way. A little bit easy. In fact, you saw this scan go down. Flash thinks it should probably be here. This would be a little bit safer, but this could build Yoon into a big lead if he can take the 4th base. Whereas if you take this, the 4th base is very hard to get later on. So right now we have the factory. The factory is like a little bit late here. He's really been focusing very, very heavily on Marine medic production. And Yoon, at the moment, like, still making drones. In fact, you know, I say that the factory is late, but everything is only in relation to everything else. So if you see, for instance, the Queen's Nest and the factory making at the same time, that means that the Zerg and the Terran are basically in lockstep. Like, that is, for a standard game, that means that everything will come out at about the right time so that nobody has a big advantage. Whereas, like, if you see the Queen's Nest done and the factory hasn't started, or vice versa, then there might be some timings in there for one side or the other based on having higher tech before the opponent has the counter tech available. And, of course, you know, none of this was designed in StarCraft. This is just people figured this out over time. It's a beautiful thing. In fact, one guy who's figured a lot of it out is right here playing the Terran. Now, the mutas coming up. Dude, Yoon's mutas are absolutely insane. He is doing a fantastic job. And I know you guys that watch this channel a lot have seen a lot of Yoon games. I do cast him quite often, honestly. And he's doing a really great job keeping the greatest player ever back on his back foot. He's unable to really get forward with those Marines for the pressure he's been looking for. In fact, Yoon going to bring in more of the Zerglings and knock out his 2nd Marine medic group. Yoon just crushing face right now, doing a fantastic, fantastic job. Hive is about halfway done. We have, right now, looks like he is making his starport. We're going to need to probably see us send gas pretty soon, but oh, armory coming up. So right now, Flash has identified that this is very, very heavy on the Mutalisks, and he actually wants to get into Valkyries. In fact, going for a siege tank as well. That I'm a little bit surprised on. I don't think he has any sort of timing, but maybe he thinks he just needs the siege tank to make sure he doesn't get contained. That can occur if you lose too many Marines and medics. Sometimes Zerg runs up and puts up a contain, and if you didn't get an add-on for your factory, you die. So that might be what he's looking at. In the meantime, he is going across the map with another group of these Marines and medics. And in fact, oh my god, there's like no defense here. He's really caught Yoon in the middle of a transition. His lurkers are not yet ready. Flash stims past, going after the drones. And Flash finding probably the only way to deal damage here. Yoon is coming in with his mutas, and I believe he has the mutalist control here to kill all this, but it takes time, and the Marines kill off every single drone at this base. And I tell you what, Flash finds the one chink in the armor here of Yoon. That is a big, big moment for Flash. Now, Yoon is going to set up his lurker defense here at that base while flying his mutas back towards the main base here, maybe to do some more harassment as well. There is a Valkyrie out. There is a second Valkyrie on the way. And in fact, oh my god, he's actually going Vulture speed. I thought he was going tanks. He's going Vulture speed right now. Absolute madness. Flash the mad lad over here. He is getting +1 armor, which is almost done. 2 Valkyries now. Ooh, Yoon's going to have to watch out for those. All right, one does start taking hits. Yoon turns and I think very smartly kills that. In fact, he should kill both. And he's going to be able to. A part of a volley gets off there. That was actually really good picking off by Yoon. But he flies out. Oh my god. Flash set a trap. He knew where the mutas would run away when he lost those 2 Valkyries. He actually ends up picking off so many mutalisks that everything really kind of working out for him at the moment. Now, the Vultures are coming out. He's going to have 4 Vultures with speed. Now, I think that that's purposeful. You need 3 Vultures to one-shot a drone. If 2 shoot exactly the same time, you can kill a drone in one shot. Or if they have +1 attack, you can. But in this case, you do need 3. So let's see if he can get in there. Goes right past, but loses 1. That's why I thought he was going to make 4. But not going to get as much damage done as I think he was hoping for here. Runs past. Okay, a little bit of micro there. But of course, there's a lot of other things to be done. So I don't know how worthwhile this is really going to be, him sitting here microing these 2 Vultures. Yeah, kills a fair amount of Zerglings. Marines going down towards Yoon's natural. A little bit of a containment force coming to the front of that 3rd base as well. Keeping pressure on Yoon right now. Yoon getting Plague. He's got some good defense here. 3 lurkers hidden underneath this Overlord. That's so that you cannot click on them with a Radiate or even target them with your Marines. Looks like he is going to spread them out now. Maybe getting a little bit nervous of like a Fire Bat-based bust. Things like that can occur. Overlord speed on the way right now for Yoon as another Vulture runs in, kind of a scouting Vulture there. It doesn't feel like the Vultures have done that much for him. Like, I see the idea, get in there, do some harassment, but unable to make that work at the moment. Honestly, I think it's just because Yoon took this space. These are the things that Flash knows about and thinks about that no one else does. No, like, if Yoon was here, I don't think he would have gone for the Vultures. But a really cute move there from Flash. Something to think about. A drop comes off into that main base. Has some Marines up at the front as well. Stims in, going after some of these drones now. Of course, this is not a huge army, so it can be dealt with. He actually scans and kills off one of those lurkers. Gonna get the Defiler. No, just barely not. A secondary dropship comes in on the other side while Yoon is trying to deal with this. All Yoon's attention is on this drop, so the secondary drop coming in might be able to get some damage as well. Double Darkstorm, so it's protecting most of the units here for Yoon. Another Darkstorm goes down as Zerglings come out. Oh, unfortunately, they pad the wrong way. Lurker gonna run up, and Flash just gonna pull back. He's really taxing the multitasking right now of Yoon. The harassment just everywhere. Oh, man. Science vessels being produced now. He actually doesn't have +2 going. Excuse me. Doesn't have +2 going, which is a little bit weird, but he does have +1 vehicle weapons. This could turn into a mech switch. It honestly right now looks like a mech switch to me, although we haven't seen the factories yet. But he is double expanding, which is pretty normal here. Continuing to produce the bio. Let's see if he does go into mech, because like normally you would definitely want +2 attacks started by now, unless you were planning on switching over your tech completely. Now Flash pushes forward, irradiates a Defiler there. Does have these Vultures out. He does have mines as well now, by the way, so can start laying some mines around. Looks like, oh my god, did we have another drop here that even had a Vulture in it? The Flash is all over the place right now. Yeah, here comes that dropship once again, doing such a good job with these drops. All right, gonna go ahead and drop off in this main base. Gets it just out of range of those mutas, so we'll be able to get them out. The mutas not gonna be able to do much of anything there. All the defense at the front. Stims forward, going to try to take out these lurkers. They do have that +1 armor, so a little bit hard to kill. Looks like Yoon's going to hold that without too much problem. So does end up saving himself from this drop. At least more radiates coming up right now. Flash marching across the map here with his Marines and medics. And there it is. It is, in fact, going to be a mech switch. So we're going to be seeing more Vultures coming out, more siege tanks as well. The bio continuing to put some pressure on, no doubt. Another little drop inside of there. The Vulture's still trying to get a little bit of harassment done. I love laying some mines in between here. Could catch things like lurkers trying to run out to reinforce that front. Flash looking for damage at the front. I don't think he's going to quite be able to get it. Just a little bit too much defense there from Yoon. Now, Flash getting his SCVs sent over and some defense sent over for these bases. He's now on 4-base economy. This is an incredibly important part of the mech switch. If you're going to do the mech switch, you really need to go up to 4 bases so that you can consistently be trading out your Vultures and gaining value. Really, really important stuff. Now, gets in here with his stimmed bio, trying to take down these lurkers. They have +2 armor now, though, against just the +1 attack Marines. And I think at this point, Yoon knows that this is going to be a mech switch, and he's maybe in for a very long game. Great Plague goes down. He does start to reduce his Marine meta count, but oh no, Flash has just enough despite the Plague to kill the other lurker. Continues to get some good irradiates down. Yoon having a hard time reducing this vessel count as well. Now that he has Plague out, though, they are starting to get pretty low. Yeah, here, this was an excellent move from Yoon. Kills off all of those vessels. That's kind of painful there for Flash. Now he lifts off all of the barracks. Oh, man. Looking real good right now. Flash's mech switch is underway, but Yoon has a lot of supply. This is kind of a scary moment. Now, these Marines kind of need to hold this base. He does a nice D-Matrix. He has no medics in here. He's stopped producing bio. So, like, what you see is what you get from here on out. Now, with that D-Matrix, he should be able to clear this lurker and the next one, especially with some Vultures coming down. Man, those +2 armor lurkers are a real pain in the butt. Look at that. He's just targeting them down, targeting down the SCVs, and does get quite a few. But now this is where you start throwing down a ton of spider mines everywhere. Now, Yoon has higher supply, so I think Yoon right now is in a pretty reasonable position. He's got a lot of great upgrades coming as well. But, you know, you're going on like Lang, Lurker. All this stuff can be beaten by mech without doubt. Now, he does get rid of that Lurker, so it doesn't quite get in. Looks like a little Ling attack. Ooh, with the Dark Swarm, he is able to get that in there. But Flash is going to continue to lay mines. He does not want this stuff to get in and hit his base. This is what I'm talking about. This is why you need 4 bases, is your Vultures need to be out there laying mines absolutely everywhere and trading for anything that they can. And, of course, over time, we'll see Flash start to build a siege tank count as well. I was just going to say, I would be surprised if he doesn't go 3 out on siege tank, and we can actually see he just finish that 3rd add-on. So what you're going to do is, right, the Vultures are going to slow everything. You're going to add in siege tanks, and then your army becomes powerful. But right now, that's going to be it. Yoon is going to be able to take Flash down in this game, but some amazing play from someone that's been in the military a long time. GG.